There. Hi, and welcome to, I think this is our fourth Q&A that we've hosted, for maybe five, that Andy and I, your Las Vegas home specialist team, have hosted. And so we have Charlotte joining us today. And what are you curious about in our current real estate environment, Charlotte?
I'm sorry, I had to move because I have a bird. And he's squawking.
That's one of the fun things about Zoom meetings, isn't it? You get to see, I'm in my office, but Andy's in his home office, and you get to see people's animals and houses. Realtors love that.
Or hear them. Let me close this door just in case he can hear me. What I'm curious about is, with people being wary about leaving their homes and not wanting to get themselves out in public, if I need to sell my home because of a transfer or something like that, how do you list and show a home in this type of a situation?
Well, that's a great question, and it really is possible. And you're right, people may just have the need, or they've already got plans in place that aren't being derailed by our shelter in place, and just need to move forward. And honestly, it's a seller's market right now. There are buyers out there looking for properties, and so it's, you can still get a loan. So really right now there's a lot of opportunity for people. And what we're doing is, if people don't want to see anybody in person, we can do the entire listing process like this in a Zoom meeting, and documents can be signed electronically. And then if the seller does not want anybody in their home at all, we ask them to take pictures for us and do a virtual tour and walk through it, a virtual open house, and then we mark it with those materials. And what we can do is say that you can make an offer on the house subject to inspection, and then once all of the contingent, whatever, there's an agreement, then the seller would leave the house and the buyer would then go with their agent. Now here in Nevada right now, we've got some recently implemented pretty stringent showing rules. We can still show houses, but we can't go into a house if someone else is there. So if the house is occupied, the seller has to leave, and then the house is shown to one person at a time, along with the real estate agent. So if, let's say that a husband and wife want to see a house, Andy and I or them with their realtor, if they have other representation, would take them into the house one at a time. And we're being really careful about not touching. Sellers are encouraged to leave all the lights on and open every single door so nobody has to touch anything. And gloves, masks, booties are provided. If you're not quite so concerned, you're okay with meeting us, we're happy to meet you and in person, or come in and take pictures, maintaining safe distances. So it's perfectly possible, and we're doing a lot of interesting marketing right now, which actually has really far-reaching. It reaches very far because we're really focusing on virtual showings. So we can meet whatever a seller's needs are. Something we should point out is that the iBuyer, like Zillow and Open Door, and I don't know, what's another one, Andy? Yeah, or even Redfin. Anyone who is doing an iBuyer, which is where you sell your house sight unseen at a set price to without representation, without having a realtor helping you. All of those have been canceled for the time being. There aren't any iBuyers out there. So you're going to be faced with somebody wanting to see your house at some point, more than likely. Although it could very well be, and Andy and I both sold houses, for instance, to active duty military, where they really haven't seen the house. We've shown it to them only virtually. They've had a home inspection, and sometimes the first time they've seen the house is when they get to town and we give them the key to go in. So it's not like we're in uncharted area. And certainly we've already, through the use of e-signatures and whatnot, have been able to limit that kind of contact. And Andy's been through a couple of closings just in the last couple of days, where the social distancing has been in place. I don't know, Andy, you want to talk about that a little bit?
As far as signing goes, the title companies don't really want anybody there but the people who have to sign. So just the buyers themselves, no loan officers, no real estate agents. Mm-hmm. So we're doing that. You know, I've been showing homes. I'm actually showing a home later today, and I'm showing 2 homes tomorrow. So the one day is vacant. One of the ones tomorrow is, the other one's not. So like Lisa said, hopefully the sellers leave, which is what we're trying to get them to do, and then we can walk through the house at that point. Try not to spend as much time in the house. You know, it's not always easy depending on your client. Different people, some people react differently to what's going on these days than other people. You know, some people are very strict and don't want to see anybody, and other people don't really seem too worried about it, you know, and don't really maybe keep as much distance as maybe they should. So, you know, you kind of have to train them to do what we want them to do, you know, to make sure that everybody's being as safe as possible, because we, of course, don't want to catch it and we don't want to spread it either. Yeah. So it's important to stay on focus, make sure we're using hand sanitizer a lot and masks if needed, and just doing the best we can. But it's definitely possible to sell homes. I was just actually looking at the MLS, and in the last 7 days, 500 homes have closed here in the Vegas area, and we've had 657 new listings.
Wow.
That's great. That shows you that's activity right there.
And it shows that your house is probably going to sell because inventory is so low, which is why we consider this a seller's market.
A lot of people, Charlotte, are out there and they're taking advantage of it. You know, I have clients that were getting outbid a lot in that price point around 300, and the investors are kind of out of the game right now because they're kind of waiting to see what happens. And so it gives people who are looking to move into a house a much better chance.
What if I want an open house? I mean, you know, that's a big thing. I want my house out there. I want people to see it. What are my options?
Well, in our state, we're not allowed to do open houses. We can only do them virtually. So we can set up times that we can walk people through the house virtually, kind of like we're doing right now. But at least in this state, we're not allowed to hold regular open houses. Mm-hmm.
But another thing that we can do is we can say we're going to be at the house during certain hours, and we can take one person through the house at a time. So that's also, you know, a possibility, a way of holding it open without with some control, as long being in compliance with the governor's directives.
Okay. What about, now Andy had mentioned about virtual, like a virtual open house. I mean, let's say that, you know, I want to have under normal circumstances, I would say I'd like to have my house open this Saturday. And if you were to do a virtual open house, like Andy mentioned, how would that be done? Would that be done like on Zoom, or, you know, how would it be done, and how would you advertise? How would people know that my house has a virtual open house on this time?
Our MLS is providing that announcement now. So when you go to look at a house on the MLS, it'll say virtual open house. And another fun way to do it would be to do Facebook Live, where you could announce that you're going to be showing a house on Facebook Live at a certain time. and do that. You could also, and what we're doing with our conversations here, we record them and then we put them up on our Facebook page, and then we do a watch party. And so we can do lots of announcements like that. And we're really set currently. When we send out an announcement about something, it's going out to better than us. I don't know, 8,000 people are getting announcements of what's going on, because we do have a really robust list of potential buyers and sellers. So we had already been staying in touch with people. Now we're doing it in a different way. So we can reach out to a lot of people. We can advertise it on Facebook. And Facebook is really, really the place to be advertising right now during this time, more than just about any other platform.
Okay. So it sounds like it's sort of business as usual, but with a twist when it comes to listing my house and putting it on the market.
Yeah, and in fact, because so many people are at home right now, guess what? They're looking at houses a lot, and it may probably more than normal. And so your house is going to actually be exposed even more to more people than it would have been like, last December.
Well, that sounds not bad.
Good. And also, loans seem to be going well. We haven't been experiencing any trouble with appraisals at all.
Professional photographers are still doing their thing. They just want nobody there except to let them in.
Okay.
That's great. And even if we put a lockbox on, the people could already be gone, and we can get a code to the photographer to let them in. I've been having to have some work done on some houses, and we just sort of said, let them in and then leave, or leave and we'll make sure they get in with the electronic lockbox. So it's almost simpler than the transition has been a lot simpler than I'd anticipated, frankly.
I'm surprised that it doesn't sound like it is the listing and marketing part really hasn't gotten any more complicated either. It sounds like it's pretty much, as I mentioned, par for the course, but just a little bit of a twist.
Right. It's a little bit, it's more on the buyer side, I think. Don't you agree, Andy, where we just have to be more careful of what we're doing.
Yeah, it's true. And some, like I have one client that I show homes to, and has kids, and she's a single parent, so sometimes the kids tag along, and it creates a little bit of an issue, but you know what, it can all be worked out.
Yeah, well, that's what we are. We're flexible, and we know how to react to different markets because we've been through lots of them, and that's really the benefit to working with people who've been in the industry for some time and do it full time, like Andy and I do.
Do you think that, once this is over, once we get through this particular issue, do you think that the changes that we're seeing right now in like listing and marketing and even showing homes, how much of that do you think is going to be permanent?
I think a lot more marketing is going to be virtual. I think that's going to be at least added to normal marketing. Not that we didn't do virtual anyway, but that's going to be a higher priority. I think that's going to be around for a while. I think Zoom is going to be around for a while. It allows people, and everybody's comfortable with it now. I mean, not that it wasn't around before, it was, but people are way more comfortable. Everybody's using it these days. Mm-hmm. So I think some of it, and some of it as time goes on, will probably a little bit back off. People do like to see homes if they live in the area. So I don't think there'll be as many virtual showings as in the future as there could be now.
Yeah, I think it's, if you need to buy a house sight unseen, that's one thing. But if you don't, you at least want to see it see it once before buying it. I think for us, it's going to be more, and we're already incorporating it just into how we market. And we've really expanded our ideas about marketing homes, and are going to be adding those into our marketing presentations for sure. That part's been pretty exciting, and also being able to talk to people this way is really nice. And I think everybody's just getting more comfortable with it. Before, like, Facebook Live would make me like, oh. And honestly now, just, it's okay if we don't have a perfect scene. It's all right, because it actually makes it more interesting and more fun, I think. So we've had a good time actually incorporating all of that into what we do. It makes our job more fun.
Well, I feel a little bit better about that whole listing process.
Good.
And I'm sure for those of us that are a bit introverted, the idea of not having to meet face to face with people, there's a certain appeal to that.
Yeah. Well, and honestly, we always prefer it when the sellers aren't there. Realtors prefer that. It just makes it's a much more relaxed situation. Unless sometimes though, a seller can really sell their home.
Sometimes I would agree. Sometimes.
Yeah. And actually, I heard about this. Another agent in the office did that. She encouraged her client to go through and walk through the house with their phone and take a video and describe a special memory in each room that they had, which I thought was really charming. And that kind of is part of the idea of sellers, having loved their home, passing that on to the new prospective owner. Okay. Andy, do you have anything you want to bring up?
No, I think we're pretty good. Just the main message is real estate's still going on. And if you're looking to buy or sell, it's a different time. It's not a bad time on either side.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a different time, and there's different rules and there's different ways we have to do business. But it's certainly not a bad time. As you can see, things are going on. Like I said, I'm showing some homes. I did 2 deals in the last 2 days. And business is proceeding as usual.
And we haven't seen a drop in home values.
That's important as well.
They're holding steady. I think our median price here in Nevada in March was still 315,000. So, provided that inventory continues to stay low, which it's going to, we do have a shortage of housing, both here in Nevada and in other parts of the country. So values, at least right now, are holding. So for sellers, we know what things are selling for right now. That's a known for us. So, well, that's all. Thanks for joining us.
Well, thanks for answering my questions.
Thanks, Charlotte. We're so glad that you called in, and Andy and I'll see everybody tomorrow at 11.
Thanks, Charlotte.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.